Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Terrence.
What's up?
All right, guys, we're back. We are going to discuss the newly released Netflix original film, The Titan, starring Sam Worthington, Taylor Schilling, and Tom Wilkinson. I took it upon myself to watch this. Terrence, you did not watch this, so I'm going to give you a recommendation. Don't watch The Titan.
Look, last night you were like, hey, anybody watch The Titan? And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable response. So I had seen the trailer for this. You know how there's like trailers on YouTube for movies, and you're like, are these real movies? Like, are they?
Sometimes
Like, are these like fan fiction? Like, oh, what if Sam Worthington was in a movie again? But my entire thought on Sam Worthington as an actor was that he's bad. Like, he's really terrible. Then he did the Unabomber series, which I thought he was very good in. And I was like, wow, maybe I was wrong about Sam Worthington. It turns out that I really wasn't. But in fairness to Sam Worthington, I think it's the material he works with. I think a lot of it is shit.
Is he going to be in the other 19 Avatar movies?
Yes, apparently he will be. So
why?
Why are they even being made? That's a different question. So The Titan is a science fiction film directed by Leonard Ruff. It basically takes place in 2048, and it's a scenario. This is like one of the... Everything about this movie is a very like by the numbers sci-fi film. Okay, see if you've heard this story before. It's in the future. In this case, it's 2048, and the Earth is dying because of global warming or what have you. We've trashed the Earth, right? So it's a documentary. And they know that in the next 10 to 15 years, the Earth will be completely inhabitable. Like Los Angeles at this point in the movie, no one can live there. And there's like all these people are being sort of herded into these major areas. There is a group of military scientists who round up these soldiers from all over the world, and they take them to this secluded little area, right? And they're like, okay, they have like all these little houses, these like really nice state-of-the-art houses that each of the soldiers in their family, their individual families live in. And the soldiers are all, what they all have in common is that they have survived these like extreme situations in combat. Sam Worthington's character, Rick Janssen, survived like crossing a desert after like being stranded in a mission for like 3 days or something like that, right? And he like barely made it, but he made it, right? Just kind of like these people have like extreme will, right? And, you know, will to survive. So they tell them that the only place for people of Earth to go instead of dying on Earth in the next 15 years is to go to Titan, which is one of the moons of Saturn, right? So like the only problem is Titan's atmosphere has like is mostly like, it's like instead of our atmosphere being 80% nitrogen, it's 95% nitrogen. And then like the lakes are too acidic. So there's all these inhabitable things about Titan, but it's got like a general atmosphere. So humans could exist if they are genetically modified. So Sam Worthington's character is, again, this is a very over the top, considering that Mars is more inhabitable than anywhere else in the solar system. They're like, we need to go to Titan. Like, okay.
So this is what, 30 years into the future?
Yeah. So this is all happening.
we have the ability to travel to Titan within 30 years.
And I would add, not to spoil anything, rather easily. Like they get there without much work, okay?
Months? Years? Months?
As far as I'm concerned, scene to scene. They didn't, no time, space, like they didn't talk about that, right? But so he undergoes, along with these other military folks, he undergoes these treatments to slowly change his body so that he could live on Titan. And if it works, then they would be able to administer this across the population. The only problem with this movie, and that's the general premise, right? And Taylor Schilling, if you don't know who Taylor Schilling is, she plays Piper from Orange is the New Black, the main character, right? The only problem is there's this conflict between like what's happening to Sam Worthington's character as he goes through these treatments and like his wife and son sort of dealing with that. Mostly his wife dealing with that, right? That's where the conflict comes in. And Tom Wilkinson, who's a very famous character actor, he's like the head scientist. So the movie isn't good, right? Like that's the premise of the movie, that it is not good. But what's interesting about the movie is the parts where he's going through the medical treatments to become more Titan-esque or whatever. That's the most interesting part of the movie. Once he becomes like fully Titanized or whatever, that's the term you want to use.
What's the difference? Does he become stronger, or is it just he can just deal with like?
No,
he can just drink acid.
No, by the end, he looks totally different. He looks like a fucking alien. Like, he doesn't look the same at all, right? Like, he looks like Abe Sapien from Hellboy, right? But, like, really not good makeup. Like, it's noticeably bad. But, so he physically changes, right? But, no, he's able to hold his breath underwater for extreme amounts of time. Like, literally, there's a part where he holds his breath for 42 minutes.
Oh,
right.
okay.
Like, he's like literally just sitting underwater. Like, they're having a contest between the other troops, and like it's him and this other woman they're the ones that kind of make it to the end of the program and like fully develop into these characters. But yeah, they're able to hold their breath, and there's some other abilities they have. I won't spoil it for you. Like, if that's
he turns into an alien.
he gets bat wings, he can fly. Okay, yeah, like seriously, that's a thing. But
okay,
yeah, but so the problem with this movie is there's nothing that happens in the movie that you couldn't see coming 1,000 miles away. There's nothing about it. You're like, oh, that was a good twist. No, there's nothing. You're like, okay, he's gonna get all the fucking Titan abilities, and then he's gonna go to Titan and leave his family behind. That's exactly what happens. I was like, why did we make this movie? Like, I knew that was going to happen when I saw the trailer. What's the point? Like, at one point, he like kind of gets out of the military custody, and he like has a fight with the military. But that was like the big crux of the trailer. It's not really in it that long. Like, the movie's an hour and a half. An hour of it is him training up to this point.
No.
And in the last half hour is like he's fully Abe Sapien, and then like it just ends. It was a real waste of time. Like, it really was. So, if you like sci-fi, I would argue this is not a good choice. I give this a resounding 0.5 star out of 5.
Jesus Christ.
And I think I probably would have given it a 1.5 if I wasn't so pissed in reviewing it and thinking about how much it wastes. Like, I would have rather have seen more of the training stuff, because the training stuff was actually kind of interesting. Like, he could swim like super fast and stuff like that. I was like, wow, all right, that's like, those are pretty decent effects and everything else. And it's like, oh, now he's a Titan. This is boring. Like, he didn't do anything cool. Not really.
It was like playing Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, it's the Sea of Thieves of movies. That's what this is.
I don't like wasting my time.
Yeah, this is not a good one. But I have to say, though, I don't think Sam Worthington is terrible in the movie. I think that the material in the movie is bad. So before people go, Sam Worthington, you shouldn't understand. I don't think that's the problem. I think this guy gets shitty work. Like, he just gets terrible scripts. Because people are like, nah, I don't believe that you're good. And they gave him a chance in that Unabomber movie or series, and he did well. This is not one of them. So,
so he's like a less famous. What's that guy that picks horrible movies?
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender.
Stop it. All right.
He does the same.
You know what? No.
He does the same thing.
To an extent. To
an extent.
Yeah, I can't.
A very large extent.
Yeah.
This movie sucked.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible time. It's all in all, it's relatively boring. Like, it just doesn't do anything different. And I was hoping that it would at least, like, the ending is really weird. Like, it's exactly what you would expect, but it doesn't make sense for what the movie is trying to accomplish, right? So, like, yeah, okay, he makes it the Titan, but he's the only one that makes it the Titan.
Like, then what?
Right.
So are there other inhabitants on Titan? Do we know that? Or did he just make it and just like, hey, I'm doing Titan, I'm chilling?
No, there's no one else. No one else can survive there. So what's the point of him going? I don't understand. He doesn't have a building. There's no radio equipment. There's nothing. He can't speak, by the way. Again, I don't know what the point of the end is. Like, is there a sequel?
Yeah, I was about to ask, is there a sequel where he's like, hey, I met this Titan chick?
Yeah, it turns out there was a bunch of chicks on Titan, man. So we got it on. Even though I'm still married, I totally cheated on my wife with this Titan.
But at this point, he's a fish man.
Yeah. You know how Shape of Water...
I didn't see it.
But you've seen the trailers.
Yeah.
You know how Shape of Water won, Best Picture or whatever because it was good? This is the opposite of that. Think of this as anti-Shape of Water.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Don't see the Titan. It's a waste of your time. Go see something else. All right. That's it for us. Check out Coming Distractions in the podcast feed on Apple Podcasts. Or if you want to watch the video for this, you can go to youtube.com/thenerdpocalypse and check out the video as well. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Bye. You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.